The principal has to wear a hard hat at every meeting, otherwise bricks might come flying out of nowhere. Dismissed by many as just another cliché, incomprehensible teen movie, and despite its low score of 6.1, it was shortlisted for the main competition at the 28th Tokyo International Film Festival, proving its unique artistic value. Director Hao Yi infused the film with his own life experiences, giving it a raw and authentic texture. In the movie, his youth mirrors the reality most of us face. No sudden triumphs, no heroic glow, only reckless failures and unrealistic fantasies about love. It also presents a profound question to us all. Is our youth a realist film, or a dream that transcends reality? The story begins without soft lighting or polished makeup, only the earthy sunlight unique to early mornings in the northern countryside. The protagonist Zhao Shanshan is awakened by his parents' sigh, for today's the day he enrolls at Guqing Middle School. In those days, for a rural family, this was a life-altering event of the highest priority. He boards his father's horse-drawn carriage on a bumpy dirt road. Heading toward an unknown future, it is on this very road that the camera executes a crucial series of cinematic movements. Girl appears dressed in simple clothes, with long silky hair. Her name is Li Chongxia. The moment their eyes meet, time seems to freeze, and all the surrounding noise and bumps instantly fall silent. And for Zhao Shanshan, this isn't just a crush. It's more like a revelation of destiny. From this moment on, his life's script has found its leading lady. The setting of Guqing Middle School perfectly recreates the look of a small town school from that era. A dilapidated campus, cramped dormitories, over a dozen people sleeping on a single platform bed. The order here is chaotic, even barbaric. Sit down, all of you. During the freshman convocation, as the principal delivers a rousing speech, a brick flies out of nowhere and strikes him squarely on the head. Such an absurd scene is just part of daily life here. In this survival of the fittest ecosystem, the school has spawned a peculiar management style, fighting fire with fire. The 4 heavenly kings are elite students recruited by the school, though small in stature. They don't wear uniforms and act like mavericks, yet they are the officially sanctioned force for maintaining order and fending off outside thugs. Get back here!
Trying to start a riot! Think you can raise hell?
To the students, they are idols to be both feared and worshipped. Zhao Shanshan's path crossed with the kings after a typical incident of campus extortion. He was cornered by thugs on his way home from school.
What you been up to lately, big bro? You giving this tip?
Just as he tried to cozy up, he was slapped and had his money snatched away. While he was walking away, dejected, he ran into the 4 heavenly kings stationed at the school gate. Under their questioning, Zhao was terrified, but the look of grievance in his eyes gave him away. Without a word, the kings took him to track down those thugs. What followed was one of the film's most iconic scenes. Confronting the gang leader, the kings didn't waste any breath.
You took money from him, so what? You tell me so what? You say so what? You come here, tell me so what? You tell me so what? So what? So what? So what? So what? So what? So what?
Not only did he help Shanshan get his money back, but he also gave him his first taste of power and belonging. Through this ordeal, Zhao Shanshan found a blessing in disguise and was accepted by the 4 heavenly kings, becoming their little sidekick. From then on, the 4 heavenly kings were upgraded to the 5 guardians. They skipped class together and went to an abandoned factory to smash windows, treating it as a ritual for their brotherhood. They would also stand in the sun, broodingly gazing into the distance, as if contemplating an unreachable future. Though this brotherhood was crude, it was the only way for these teenagers to huddle for warmth, and the only outlet to vent their emotions in that oppressive era. But this tough guy identity was not understood by his family. When his father learned he had joined a gang, he scolded him harshly out of frustration, demanding that he focus on his studies. But adolescent ears always suffer from selective hearing. Though the sting of his father's shoe was painful, the memory faded once the beating stopped. All he could remember was the boisterous laughter shared with his brothers, and the illusory thrill of dominating the campus. Because in his world, there was something more important than studying, or the future. And that was Li Chongxia. The same red school uniform seemed exceptionally bright and captivating. When worn by Li Chongxia, Zhao Shanshan's eyes would always follow her involuntarily. At his young age, he didn't understand what love was, but he knew for certain that he couldn't imagine a life without her. His brothers saw what was on his mind and decided to give him a hand. On the path Li Chongxia took after school, they shouted her name one by one, but she never looked back until it was Zhao Shanshan's turn.
Yeah.
You need something. This simple response sent him bolting back to the dormitory, dove into his quilt, his heart racing with joy. After school at the hot water station where students queued up, the four heavenly kings pulled their old tricks using hoses to drive everyone away, creating a chance for Zhao Shanshan to be alone with Li Chongxia. Everyone else scattered, leaving only Zhao Shanshan, standing his ground, stubbornly rooted there like a wooden stake, locking eyes with her through the swirling steam and shimmering mist. Perhaps it was this very uniqueness and persistence that made Zhao Shanshan stand out in her eyes. From then on, Li Chongxia began to playfully drift into his dreams. Her sweet smile wove itself into the most unforgettable landscape of his youth. As the high school entrance exams drew near, every teenager stood at a crossroads of their time. Back then, for rural kids with average grades, vocational school was a safer bet. It guaranteed a job assignment right after graduation. High school, however, was a gamble if you failed to get into college. You'd have wasted 3 years and your family's hard-earned money. Summoning all the courage she could muster, Zhao Shanshan asked Li Chongxia what she would choose.
Hey, Chongxia, are you going to vocational school or high school? High school.
Just to stay by her side, he chose the harder path of uncertainty without a second thought. Youthful dreams are like confessions carved into tree trunks. Naive, yet recklessly determined. Over the course of one summer, Zhao Shanshan hit a growth spurt, even starting to look like a movie star. Entered high school full of hope, but soon began searching frantically, scouring every corner of the campus. But that familiar face was nowhere to be found. A wave of crushing disappointment instantly overwhelmed him. He couldn't understand why did Li Chongxia change her mind. How was he to endure these 3 years without her? Just as he felt utterly hopeless, a crisp voice rang out behind him. He whipped around to see the face he had longed for day and night. Tears instantly blurring his eyes as surprises came one after another. Not only were they reunited, but they were also placed in the same class. Zhao Shanshan's entire world was illuminated by Li Chongxia once again. His gaze was drawn to her like a magnet, fixed on her at all times, getting so carried away that he was singled out and scolded by the teacher. He didn't notice at all that a girl named Wang Huan also had a special place in her heart for him, sadly on the map of love. Straight paths are rare. It's mostly a maze of intricate one-way streets. Mutual attraction is a rarity, Wang Huan. This character serves as a classic, heartbreaking footnote in this story of youth. She represents those overlooked silent affections to get one step closer to the goddess of his heart. Zhao Shanshan used poor eyesight as an excuse to swap seats with a classmate, finally sitting next to Li Chongxia just as he had hoped, while his heart raced, taking in her fragrance, so close at hand. Wang Huan, feeling her crush had been stolen, marched over in a huff. She mocked him with bitter sarcasm.
I think what you really need is someone to stand guard over you.
Adolescent heartthrobs don't actually require earth-shattering vows. It could be an ordinary seat swap, or perhaps the shadows swaying under dim candlelights during a sudden power outage at evening study. Or perhaps it's the sight of a figure skipping nimbly over rubber bands in the bright sun. Even the most mundane moments are cast in a beautiful glow through the filter of youth. In one English class, the teacher had them imitate classic lines from the movie Titanic.
Rose, you jump, I jump to make it. They can't. Our life is a game of luck. Zhao Shanshan's clumsy pronunciation sparked an outburst of laughter, and the teacher punished him. He was ordered to stay over the weekend for tutoring from Li Chongxia, the English class representative.
What seemed like a punishment was in fact a godsend. In the empty classroom with only the two of them left, Zhao Shanshan summoned every ounce of courage he possessed, and slowly placed his hand over Li Chongxia's. At that moment, the air itself seemed to stand still. To his surprise, Li Chongxia didn't pull away. Her eyes were brimming with a young girl's shyness and nerves. Clearly, at some unknown point, she had developed feelings for him as well. This touch acted as a key, unlocking a new chapter in their relationship. They began to stroll around the campus, one following the other, sneaking off to the railway bridge, their secret base etched with youthful vows and heartfelt confessions, where they shared their innermost thoughts. Whenever a train thundered past, the deafening roar and vibrations seemed to beat in time with their racing hearts. They would scream at the top of their lungs at the passing train, releasing the raw, unbridled passion that only belongs to youth. Their once dull and monotonous high school life became vibrant and full of flavor, thanks to this blossoming love. Zhao Shanshan grew increasingly bold. He even invited Li Chongxia to a dim, secluded room in the school. In that cramped space, he clumsily yet sincerely shared his first kiss. The kiss made their relationship soar golden sunlight, and a warm breeze framed them as they leaned into each other, looking like a scene straight out of a fairy tale. But fairy tales are inherently fragile, just as Zhao Shanshan was dreaming of an infinite future. An off-campus bully named Chen Haonan loomed over his youth like a dark gathering storm cloud.
Mom.
So you're dating, huh? Every day you spend dating, I'll spend messing with you. If you do it every day, I'll mess with you every day. Do you hear me? I heard you.
This humiliation left Zhao Shanshan sleepless, unable to even face Li Chongxia. But, unfortunately, before long, Chen Haonan confronted him again, this time in front of the whole class, and began berating him. At this tense moment, the entire class was paralyzed with fear. Only Li Chongxia bravely rushed forward to shield Zhao Shanshan. Everyone was stunned by the courage displayed by this seemingly fragile girl, including Chen Haonan. Li Chongxia's intervention was like a ray of light, piercing through Zhao Shanshan's dark situation. She decided not to back down anymore. However, this bravery also incensed Chen Haonan to save Fasi. He picked up a brick and hurled it violently at Zhao Shanshan. From the moment of his humiliation, Zhao Shanshan seemed to have been stripped of his right to love. He became a laughingstock. But Li Chongxia didn't give up on him under the bridge where they often met. She wrote encouraging words in chalk success in the exams. Then come, marry me. This sentence became Zhao Shanshan's ultimate lifeline. She knew there was no turning back facing Chen Haonan's constant harassment and the judgmental stares of those around her. Her only choice was to fight hard, to get into university, and use conventional success to reclaim her love and dignity.
Li Chongxia and Chen Haonan are together now.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? It's the channel. Didn't you know?
Now only one path remained for him: academic success in the Jiaokao. On the night the college entrance exams ended, graduates bid farewell to their stifling high school years with a book-burning frenzy. The blazing flames reflected those young and bewildered faces. Pushing through the noisy crowd, Zhao Shanshan stared fixedly at Li Chongxia amidst the firelight, and with every ounce of his strength he asked the question he cared about most. Yet we hear no answer. He walked alone into a dark corner, quietly awaiting fate's judgment. On the day the results were released, some wept, while others rejoiced. Zhao Shanshan squeezed into the crowd in a daze, anxiously searching the red list for his name. Not on the first sheet, nor the second, not even the last. He had failed to make the cut. Meanwhile, Li Chongxia seemed to have known the outcome all along. Without a backward glance, she hopped onto Chen Haonan's motorcycle and vanished into the distant crowd. In that moment, Zhao Shanshan's world plunged into total darkness. The double blow of heartbreak and academic failure left him utterly shattered. His mental state deteriorated as he constantly fantasized that Li Chongxia was still by his side. Confiding his agony to the mirror, he even kissed his own reflection. The shadow of lost love loomed over his entire world. After agonizing over it, he made a desperate decision. He returned to the culvert where he and Li Chongxia once lingered, and used a rope to end his failed youth. Perhaps from the moment he hung himself, he never truly lived again. Everything that followed was merely a vision in his final moments, or a product of his total mental collapse, a grand and poignant dream he wove for himself. Hearing that his childhood friend Erwa was making it big in Beijing, he boarded a train heading north. Only upon arrival did he realize that doing well simply meant working as a security guard at the Beijing Film Academy. Erwa then took Zhao Shanshan on a tour of the campus. Countless girls here are more beautiful and fashionable than Li Chongxia, but Zhao Shanshan's heart remains tethered to that small town girl. He felt that Li Chongxia was the only woman he truly desired in his life. By chance, he wanders into a screening room where the film Malena is being shown. On the screen, the radiant and elegant Malena strolls through the town, instantly captivating every man's gaze. The scene strikes Zhao Shanshan like lightning, reminding him of high school, when Li Chongxia walked across the playground, drawing the same obsessive stares from countless boys. It is at this very moment that a seed is planted in his heart. He will be a director and make a film about the youth he shared with Li Chongxia. When reality cannot be altered, cinema becomes his only salvation. He seeks to use the camera to return to the past and rewrite the agonizing ending. This is more than just a career dream. It is a calculated revenge against his own failed life. To realize this dream, he begins frequenting various entertainment circles in Beijing, hoping to cross paths with investors. Later, he actually meets a woman claiming to be incredibly wealthy. She is highly impressed by his story and agrees to invest, but on the condition that she must play the role of Li Chongxia. Faced with this absurd demand, Zhao Shanshan is in no position to refuse, and has no choice but to comply. Driving the investor's luxury car, he returns home in glory. The gates of ancient city, no one middle school, look just as they always did. Yet, there's a sense of desolation. The place remains, but the people have changed. Hearing that he's making a movie, the four heavenly kings of his youth now treat him with utmost respect. At the dinner, China, only Sihao, the most successful among them, still carries an air of smugness and poise. Others have long had their sharp edges smoothed out by life, becoming timid and submissive. They wanted to ride on Zhao Shanshan's coattails to teach Chen Haonan a lesson, to settle the scores of the past. But when they found Chen Haonan's barbecue stall, all they saw was a weathered face stripped of its former arrogance. In the end, Zhao Shanshan's heart softened. He took the initiative to invite Chen Haonan for a drink, and the two of them downed their bottles in one go. Past grudges were wiped clean with this drink. This dissolution of revenge further proves this is Zhao Shanshan's dream in his constructed fantasy world. He adopts the stance of a winner, bestowing forgiveness upon his former enemy. This satisfies his vanity more than any act of retaliation ever could. Orchestrated this reconciliation himself, allowing himself within these humiliating memories to occupy the moral and social high ground. That evening at the class reunion, he saw many faces both familiar and strange. Even Wang Huan, who once had a crush on him, had become provocatively glamorous. Her words tinged with a hint of bitterness and self-deprecation.
Time to catch some shrimp in the river.
Fueled by alcohol, Zhao Shanshan plucked up the courage to dial Li Chongxia's number. When a voice answered from the other end, he fell silent.
You're back.
When he heard his name clearly uttered by her, Zhao Shanshan could no longer contain himself. He covered the phone and sobbed uncontrollably. Reunions in dreams are always shadowed by the cruelty of reality. The next day, when he finally met Li Chongxia, he discovered she was pregnant and the child was Sihu's. This fact hit him like a heavy punch, leaving him with a gut-wrenching mix of emotions. Zhao Shanshan couldn't utter a single word of blame. He only wanted to know if she was doing well. To help him find inspiration, Li Chongxia agrees to accompany him back to school. Returning to their old haunts and sitting in their former seats, Li Chongxia finally reveals the secret she has kept hidden for years. She was forced to break up with him by their teacher. Later, she stayed with Chen Haonan, simply to protect Shanshan and shield him from further bullying. Later, after Chen Haonan was imprisoned, she had nowhere to go and ended up with Sihao. These words once again perfectly align with Zhao Shan's fantasy. It turns out he was never abandoned, but had always been the deeply loved, protected center of her world. He takes 10 yuan from his wallet for her, the pin being her birthday. When Li Chongxia sees that he still carries her photo in his wallet, she instantly bursts into tears. After more than a decade of twists and turns, he remains the only one in her heart. He moves closer, seeking a final moment of tenderness, only to be stopped at the most critical moment. The honking of Sihu's car arriving to pick her up interrupts them. Regret remains regret after all. Zhao Shanshan can only watch helplessly as she leaves in another man's car once again. Just as when she rode off on Chen Haonan's motorcycle, he is powerless. The dream continues, but it begins to take a darker turn. His father dies in a tragic accident on a construction site. He takes his mother to demand an explanation, only to be met with cold ridicule from the now powerful Sihao. Dark suspicion takes root in Zhao Shanshan's mind. He believes his father's death was a deliberate act by Sihu, revenge for the rekindled spark between him and Li Chongxia. He rushes back to Beijing to seek help from his investors, only to be told his status is a sham, and the promised investment has evaporated. His entire world crumbled before his eyes, like a grieving child in an empty room. He could only cry out in despair after receiving 90 yuan in compensation for the construction accident. He decided to take this money paid for with his father's life and give it one last shot. On a shoestring budget, he would make this film about his youth. While in pre-production, Li Chongxia suddenly appeared. She told Zhao Shanshan that she had divorced Li Sihu. At this moment, with all obstacles gone, they finally had each other. It felt like a redemption for over a decade of regret. Li Chongxia wanted Zhao Shanshan to settle down. She had an apartment, and with her ex-husband's monthly child support plus the 90 yuan compensation, they could have lived a simple and stable life. But Zhao Shanshan had other plans. He was obsessed with finishing that movie about his youth.
Isn't it enough just to marry you? What exactly do you want?
Faced with this question, Zhao Shanshan fell silent for a long time. But what Zhao Shanshan wanted now was no longer the real Li Chongxia. He didn't know how to explain it because what he truly desired was the time he could never return to. Filming began regardless. He recruited local villagers as extras and brought back the 4 heavenly kings from his past. Li Chongxia played the lead under the lens. Her hollow eyes and weathered face bore no trace of the youthful beauty from his memory. When she and the young actor squeezed into the shack where they had their first kiss, attempting to recreate the shy tension of those years, the feeling was gone. The hazy beauty of memory appeared awkward and artificial. Under the high-definition lens, Zhao Shanshan had no choice but to call a halt. He ordered everyone out and stepped into the small shack himself. He closed the door, deciding to direct the scene in person. It is at this very point that the film's narrative completely veers off the tracks of reality and drifts into a boundless dreamscape. When the door opens again, the familiar pair is no longer behind it. Instead, there is a massive wall of snow and time seems to stand still. After an eternity, Zhao Shanshan and Li Chongxia slowly emerge from the deep snow. Li Chongxia's face is filled with panic, yet Zhao Shanshan gazes into the distance with conviction. A familiar figure comes galloping across the vast snowfield in a horse-drawn carriage. Under the sunlight, the scene glows with a fairy tale dream-like shimmer. Driving the carriage is his late father. Zhao Shanshan shouts out, begging his father for a ride. His father speaks, but it is a stern scolding layered with deep paternal love.
It's the dead of winter. What the hell are you doing out here with your girl?
We just want to go home.
The two happily board the carriage, and the crisp sound of bells rings out in the silent snow like a soul-summoning melody being played. It guides a heart full of longing racing toward the direction of home. A childlike nursery rhyme drifts in from the distance. The lyrics are absurd and melancholic.
All scattered as a gum.
The ballad is incoherent, like the mutterings of a child, or a haphazard reflection on a life gone by. The singing echoes across the desolate snow as the carriage drifts further away, finally vanishing into the pure white void. The ending of my original dream is both open and conclusive. It is open because it leaves the final interpretation to the audience. It is conclusive because for Zhao Shanshan, this might be the most fulfilling closure he could choose for himself. In truth, the reality of the film's second half is very likely Zhao Shanshan's hallucination. He might have died on that afternoon when he tried to hang himself, or perhaps under the double blow of failing his exams and losing his love. His psyche has completely descended into a world of his own creation. There is a Zhao Shanshan living inside all of us. We have all missed out on the people and things that mattered most because of our own insecurities and cowardice. Then we replay those moments in our minds over and over, searching for a better ending. Yet it also serves as a reminder that true growth is not about conquering the past through fantasy, but about making peace with our failed selves in reality. Perhaps this is the ultimate catharsis that this seemingly healing movie can offer us.
You asked him for money. Now what? What's your problem? You tell me what's wrong. What's your deal? What's it to you?